Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Raising Well Children. Today we're going to touch on the topic of food. Absolutely a quintessential part of any good, healthy child's regimen is what they put into their body, right? There's classic laws of health. One of them are you are what you eat. And it's undeniable. So what you're gonna put into your body and what you're gonna put into your children's body is literally gonna become their body. So as they're growing and developing and creating new cells and getting rid of old and regenerating and doing all of that beautiful growth and development that we want them to do, it's these foods that their brain and nerve system is gonna put to use in order for them to be able to grow and develop and harness energy and do all those things. So when we talk about the rules of nutrition for kids, there's a few super simple things that I'd really encourage you to do. And the number one overarching rule of everything is eat real food. Okay, so try to limit the processed packaged food as much as possible. And then when you do enter into the realm of processed or packaged of any kind, be an ingredient, person who reads every one of those ingredients on those lists and make sure that you understand what it is you're putting into your kids. All the chronic diseases that not only kids are dealing with, but that actually manifest over the course of years, like cancers and heart diseases and Alzheimer's and all those types of things, they're all linked back to nutrition. They're linked back to toxins going into children. And so when we eat real food, we know that those ingredients aren't chemicals that are going to be harsh on their body. We know those foods are filled with nutrients that their body can easily process and break down. So, a couple of examples of even stepping that out in the right direction, I brought with me, just what you can do from sort of a pasta perspective in your house to be able to try to stick to more real-oriented foods. So I talk about, wanting to reduce things like grains and carbohydrate intake as a whole, but a lot of families are really, hooked on something like pasta, and ours is too. Our kids love it, and so we look for healthier ways to be able to do that are more in line with and congruent with our values. So for example here, this would be something called a quinoa pasta. So this is gonna be something that is less offensive from a grain perspective, right? It's gonna be organic, so it's not gonna be coming from, let's just say, like some kind of an unhealthy grain that's been sprayed with all kinds of chemicals, or even a genetically modified seed that grew that grain. So this is an ancient grain organic quinoa, which would be a step in the right direction, right? Another step even further in the right direction would be using something like spaghetti squash as a fabulous alternative to a pasta noodle. So when you would roast the spaghetti squash in the oven, you would be able to scrape out the inside of this and it would break apart and kind of, resembles almost like a little bit of a noodle. Moving forward into something like, say, a pasta sauce, you want to make sure that you know exactly what's going in there. So you can make your own, which is fantastic. You'll know exactly what all the ingredients are. But if you're in a pinch and you're looking for something quick that's store-bought, again, chemical-free, understand what's on the ingredients, and they should all make sense to you. When I read and look at this entire ingredients list on here, there aren't any words I don't understand. I understand everything that's going in, and it does not concern me at all with regards to the ingredients on there. These things are available at Costco. They're becoming more and more common and available for people to get. When you look in your refrigerator, for example, what you should predominantly see, it's not that it's, that you're never gonna have anything bad in there, but you should see produce predominantly. You should see good, healthy things for your family. Teas that my wife has brewed for our family, or there's the leftover pasta from somewhere earlier in this week, but oat milks, almond milks, coconut milk, yogurt. There's some more regular oriented yogurt in there as well, but all kinds of fruits and vegetables. Those should be your go-to things. We shouldn't be opening up the fridges and seeing all kinds of chemical laden products that are going to go in. When you're looking towards making things like salad dressings for your family, you know, make your own. Use natural, good, healthy ingredients, okay? So that's rule number one in terms of raising well children, is having good, natural, real food in the house. Rule number two is, as kids are developing, we want to make sure that those kids are getting lots of good quality fat into their diet. So make sure that you're getting into there in things like your salad dressings, good healthy butter made from grass-fed cow's milk. You want to get really good oils in there, like olive oil and avocado oil, and get your kids eating nuts and putting seeds and nuts into their smoothies. Smoothies are a great way to pack real food into, you know, palatable scenarios that kids love and enjoy. It's so easy to get a smoothie to taste really good to a kid by using beautiful fruits like, you know, strawberries and raspberries and blueberries, those ones that are lowering glycemic. You know, every once in a while you throw in there a couple of mangoes and they're gonna think it's been, you know, an absolutely, like, you know, treat of a day. And so getting nutrients into kids through smoothies is super helpful. You can, you know, hide things in there as well, like little bits of avocado and cauliflower, and they're never even gonna know they're in there, right? You can make things taste like chocolate in a really healthy way by using cacao powder, which is, you know, a superfood. And so you can get those things into your kids in really good, healthy ways. When we give them good, solid nutrition, we'll see their behavior stays nice and level, right? The more sugar we get into their bodies, the more they're gonna have swings up and down, right? We know sugar causes energy swings, sugar causes mood swings, it causes serotonin and dopamine fluctuations in the body, all kinds of struggles that come from putting sugar into your life in a synthetic way, right? So sugar inside of fruits or, you know, whole foods that haven't been processed aren't nearly as bad as sugars that are added into things. So sugar that you might see that comes inside of a sweet potato would be very welcome in our household, as opposed to, you know, heaping sugar into a double coffee, which would be, you know, a challenge for sure. That's not something that we would want to do. So as far as that goes, that's rule number two. Get really, really good fats into your kids. And then rule number three is try to get rid of that processed sugar. So anything that has sugar added to it is what our kids love the most, and that's what we want to refrain from as much as possible. So that's a tough one. It's tough as adults, it's tough, you know, everywhere. But as you're raising your kids, the more you can pull that out, the more you're gonna have them steering clear of all kinds of different issues down the road. We know sugar is tied to every one of those diseases I talked to. It's tied to attention issues, it's tied to brain degeneration issues, it's tied to diabetes. The insulin response created from processed sugar is something that is tied to almost every major degenerative disease out there. So we really want to make sure that we steer clear of that. So your three overarching principles are: make it real food, really up the fat for them, and then really try to eliminate the added sugar as much as possible. Of course, you can go down this rabbit hole deeper and deeper and deeper. There's tons of great details on nutrition you can learn, but those are the three things that'll make your family so much stronger than the average Canadian child out there.